Have you been waiting for my next book review? That's coming up right after this. Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Mel from Mel's Divination. I am the owner, the operator, the creator here, and on Wednesdays we do Witchy Spiritual Wednesdays, and on Fridays we do Flip Through Fridays. If you like that kind of content, I suggest you subscribe and check out my other videos. Sometimes they're controversial, sometimes they're not. We talk about all kinds of things under the spiritual and witchcraft umbrella. Today we are doing a book review of the Angel Therapy Handbook by Doreen Virtue by viewer request. What I'd like to talk about first before we really get started and going on this is to let everybody know that Mel's Divination is 100% up and running. The link is down below in the description box. It is working. The site is fully operational, so you can contact me if you have any questions about what kind of reading you might want. I offer all kinds of readings from 15 minutes to an hour-long readings in timing increments, and I offer coaching sessions as well. What's on the site is individualized coaching sessions for one coaching session per 30-minute block, or we can set up a time that we can talk and maybe get a coaching package. I have those for offers as well. It's just not on my website as of late. I am filming at a funny time today, so there may be some background noise from the yard or from my neighbors. I am sorry for that. I don't have any background music on because I just want to focus on the book and get this done. This was a viewer request, and it is the Doreen Virtue Angel Therapy Handbook, as I already said, and I do highly recommend this book, actually, even though it is a little love and light. It is for light workers, as Doreen has put it. And if you've watched some of my other videos, you know that I am not 100% subscribed to just the light worker energy, just the light worker label. I am of all energy, okay? However, this was the very first book, and I do recommend you go back and you rewatch my Doreen Virtue videos. I will link them up here and down below in the description box, the ones that talk about her history. This is how I got started doing this full-time professionally. This is how I was trained, okay? As a professional, I took a course, and this is how it all really began, of me doing this for people, for pay, for income, rather than just playing around with some runes and some stuff, okay? By taking a course, I took an angel course, and by doing this, it expanded me into learning what oracle cards were, how to use them, all about angels, etc. Now, Doreen Virtue is not prescribed to this train of thought anymore, and that's why I recommend you check out the video. This book is out of print, but you can probably find it used. I am not 100% sure. I'll try to comment about that over here when I edit, and I look up information to try to link some stuff down below for you guys. Now, what I did, this has been a really long time since I've read this book, but what I did was, to prepare for this video, I took notes. I prepared notes. I went back through the whole thing, and I didn't reread the whole book, but I skimmed the book so that I could give you information about what is inside of this book and give you some of my thought processes about it, okay? Without further ado, we're gonna jump right in, but I am going to reference my notes, just so you guys know. So I'm gonna be looking down a lot, and I know that it's not always that fun to look at my forehead, but that's how I have to do it. I can't memorize notes. I don't know how influencers do it. I really don't, because I have a lot of information that I need to share. Maybe a teleprompter. Maybe someday I'll get myself a teleprompter. I don't know. So the book is broken up into 3 parts, and I know that this is mirrored, and I do apologize, but there's part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this book. This is what the table of contents look like. I'll insert a picture for you guys so you can see it not mirrored, not flipped around. This book was published, oh boy, Let's see if I can find it. I didn't take notes on that. 2011 it was published, and Doreen at the time was a huge person that was teaching angel classes, teaching classes about how to connect with your angels, teaching classes about how to do readings with angels, etc. I don't do angel readings the way that this teaches. I started out that way and then realized that I was calling in people's guides more than specific just angels. And that was when I really shifted my focus because of the way that my reading style ended up naturally progressing. Okay. So part 1, it talks about connecting with angels and the archangels. It's broken down by chapters. We have chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. In chapter 1, she talks just about angels. Just angels in general. She talks about 9 choirs of angels, and that's what she calls it. I'm quoting it. And it's basically categories of where the angels are in a hierarchy according to heaven, like what are closest to God, who does what. And then she gets into types of angels like fitness, nature, romance, abundance, healing, etc. And she goes over 10 types. Sorry, I couldn't read my own handwriting. She goes over 10 types, 10 categories of them. And then she gets into how do you identify your guardian angel? How do you do it? How you can identify what your guardian angel is. How do you connect with them? And she really breaks that down. And I did use that back in the day to ID my guardian angel. In chapter 2, that's all in chapter 1. In chapter 2, she goes over the archangels, that they are the managers of the angels. She talks about how to identify the actual archangels, and she lists 15 of them and it's in alphabetical order, from Archangel Ariel all the way to Archangel Zadkiel, and there's 15 of them. So Michael's in there, Raphael, Uriel, some of the ones that you may be more familiar with or not. She talks about how to interact with the archangels themselves, and then she discussed archangels in sacred texts, what kind of sacred texts they're found in. So like the Bible, the Quran, things like that. Chapter 3, she talks about mediumship and departed loved ones. Now, I may go back over this one for myself and reread this chapter again. I remember finding it very confusing for me because she talks about doing mediumship for yourself. She talks about people that are adopted and how to connect with your biological families. She talks about deepening the relationship with people who are deceased, about departed pets, conducting mediumship for others. 3 parts of mediumship, and when I skimmed through that, I didn't really love it. One was like about sending messages of love, closing the reading with love or something like that. She gets into the power of the name vibrationally, and I actually really like that because that's how I read in general. I know, like in this section, she's referring to the mediumship. So like if you needed a reading on your grandfather, Joe, who passed away, she talks about how using Joe's name is a unique vibration to that individual and you can connect to them. Now, my very best mediumship, and this is a side note, the very best mediumship reading I have ever had is by a reader who doesn't use names. She literally just says, what is your relationship to this person? That's it. Who is this person to you? Grandmother on dad's side, grandfather on mom's side, friend, sister, whatever. That she doesn't use names at all. She uses the relationship, the connection to you and the person. And it was the most accurate, and I've had many mediumship readings. It was the most accurate one I've ever had. So there is something to the vibration of the name because I do use names to connect myself when I do readings, but it's not usually with deceased people. She also IDs who is with the client, and there's a chart in here, and I'm gonna link it in here when I edit it because it's confusing. And this is where I got muddled in learning mediumship, because I couldn't memorize. Like if somebody visually shows up on the left side, it means something, or on the right side, or on the lower left, or up here, it all means something. And that chart it was just too much for me. I was very overwhelmed by that. And then she talks about overcoming blocks to mediumship. Now, I do want to briefly touch on my abilities around mediumship. I'm saying this loosely because I did mention my website and readings. I am not a medium. And I believe I did a video a long time ago of medium versus psychic. I am not a skilled medium. So if you call me looking for a reading on your dearly passed mother or grandparent, I cannot promise you I will connect to that energy. I have occasionally connected to people that have passed by accident while doing a reading. For instance, I have a client that I read for that I didn't know her brother was deceased, and I was picking up on his energy, and I was like, well, your brother is showing up as da-da-da-da, and she hadn't disclosed that he was deceased, and she's like, that makes so much sense. He's upset about the way he passed. And I was like, oh, like I didn't realize that that's what was coming through, because I am not a medium. So occasionally some people will come through with messages that are already passed, but I don't know, it's like a fluke. It's not intentional. It's an accident. And I don't even know that they're passed, because they show up to me as live people. They don't show up to me differently, which is, I find very interesting. And I maybe someday will delve into that more for myself, but for now, I just say I'm not a medium, because I don't ever want to mislead somebody, especially somebody in a vulnerable position missing a loved one, okay? Moving on to the next section. So that was all part 1. Part 2 is where I really spent a lot of time reading and investigating and researching and doing it. So this is going to cover the clairs as well. The clairs, some of the clairs, not all of them. So this part 2 is about angel therapy methods, is what it's called. And it has the most chapters in this section. Okay, so chapter 4 is the first chapter under part 2. It's about talking with angels and handling and healing ego-based fears is the big thing that it talks about here. It talks about things like asking for a sign. It talks about things like, is it better, what do's or don'ts. It's a lot of like frequently asked questions about connecting with angels. That is the best way to summarize chapter 4. I didn't spend a ton of time on it, so I really don't want to talk about it too much. Now we get into the clairs and what she calls the 4 clairs. Since this book was published, more clairs have come out. We can talk about all the clairs another time in detail. Today, we're just going over this book and what she covers and my opinion on it, okay? But she does cover the clairs. So chapter 5 is about the 4 clairs in her world, how she labels the 4 clairs. She gives a quiz, which I find very helpful. However, it's limiting because there's more clairs than that. So it's good to an extent, all right? There's a quiz that you can take to discover what your primary clair is. Then there's a section of clearing your clairs, clearing that energy, clearing it out. And then she talks about what the 4 are: clairvoyance, clairsentience, claircognizance, and clairaudience. So clairvoyance is the 3rd eye. It's about seeing, clear seeing. Clairsentience is the heart. It's about knowing. Claircognizance is the crown. I think that one's knowing too. And clairaudience is the ear, and it's about hearing. So one's seeing, hearing, feeling. Clairsentience is feeling. Feeling. We'll get into all that after. It's interesting, if you guys are curious which one I was, I came up as clairsentience is how I came up. It says that I interact with the world through physical and emotional feelings, highly sensitive and may have difficulty dealing with crowds, often feel the pain of those around you, sometimes unknowingly, overeat or indulge in other addictions to deal with overwhelming feelings, become a professional helper, being teased for being too sensitive, yet your sensitivity has made you a delicate receiving instrument for heaven's messages. That's who I mostly connect with. But since then, Clairaudience has come online a bit. Clairsentience has come online. So, oh, I am clairsentience. Claircognizance, sorry, has come online. So it's muddled. It depends on the energy of the client. It depends on the energy of the reading. It depends on how spirit wants to give me messages at this point. I couldn't say to you, I am just this one thing. I'm not. Clairaudience is my weakest one because I don't actually hear things. I feel things and I'm shown things in my mind's eye, and I will sometimes see phrases or feel phrases that I need to share. So let's talk about clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is chapter 6, so that's the next chapter, and that's about clear seeing. And during most of these, the chapters of the clairs are broken down pretty much the same way. So I'm just giving you bullet points of what's covered in each one. Clairvoyance is clear seeing. It's about seeing angels, photo orbs, and angelic visions. It gives you steps to opening the third eye, which if you're not familiar with that, it is right here. It is between your eyebrows, the third eye chakra. It talks about healing fear blocks, past life blocks, trying too hard, psychic blocks, and visions from heaven. Now let's talk about past life blocks for a minute. If you guys want me to, I will do a past life discussion video another time. Past life is a very big concept, a very big topic in the spiritual world. So comment down below if you're interested in it. I have not talked about it because everybody has their own opinions, and it's sort of controversial. I mean, yeah. So let me know if you want me to do a video about past lives. Chapter 7 is clairsentience. It's clear feeling, emotional or physical. That's the one that I feel the most. It's ways to feel presence. She talks about how to increase it, how to protect yourself, which I probably should go over again because it wouldn't hurt. How to shield, how to clear, and how to be in touch with your feelings, knowing what's yours or what you're receiving for other people. The differences between them. Chapter 8, claircognizance, is clear thinking. She talks about judgment versus discernment, meaning are you judging somebody or are you picking up on the energies? What's the difference? Common ways to connect to claircognizance, how that comes through. Skepticism, pragmatism, and faith. Then she talks about how to increase it, again, how to trust the energies, and how to discern between what's true and what's false. Chapter 9 is clear, I can't read it again. Clairaudience, sorry, hiccup. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to get through this. Sorry if I'm talking fast. I want to share it with you, all this information, and it's already 20 minutes into the video. Chapter 9 is clairaudience, hearing, common answers, it commonly shows up, answers to it, bringing in ears, how to increase it, and paying attention to the messages. So that's basically similar to some of the other structures. That was the last one. I believe I went over all of them. Voyance, clairsentience, claircognizance, yeah, and then clairaudience. So those are the 4 clairs that she talks about. If you'd like me to break down each one, message down below, comment in the comment section about what you'd like to see more of. If you want me, I could do a video on each individual one, but I only want to do that if you guys are going to watch it. I don't need to do it for myself, and it's not widely talked about in the community. So if you don't need me to do it, that's cool. Chapter 10 gets into how to giving angel readings. And then she goes over what kinds of questions you might get, how to answer them, the themes of questions you might get, of readings you might get, like life purpose or romance or things of that nature. So she breaks down how to give a reading. And I'm not going to get into the details about that because you can get the book or you can, I don't know, take a class. Chapter 11, oracle cards and other divination, is what she talks about there. She talks about oracle cards and the vibration. Now, what does she mean? And she says this in every single guidebook that she gives out that comes along with her decks. Most authors oracle card authors talk about this, but it talks about the vibration of, like, I have one of her decks right here. It's the Angel Tarot deck. She talks about cards jumping out, cards coming out because it matches the vibration of what you're looking for. It's a vibration. It's about the energy that you're putting into the question. It's about the energy you're connecting to. Okay, she talks about that. And then she gets into automatic writing. Automatic writing was the first way I learned how to do angel readings. The first way I learned how to do oracle cards. I would get so many more deeper messages of pictures that were lighting up in the oracle cards, and I would write it all down, than where I would channel it through words. That has shifted. Now I'm more of a spoken channeler. Where as I talk, more messages come in. I get shown pictures, I get shown images, I get shown songs, I get shown all kinds of scenarios that I'm familiar with to help my client as I'm speaking. And it really flows very quickly when I'm doing it. Then she talks about angel lights and angel numbers. Angel numbers is a really well-known thing. If you don't know angel numbers and you'd like me to do a video, comment down below, but I'm not going to get into it here. Angel therapy healing is chapter 12, and then she talks about different ways to remove energies that are unsavory. She doesn't talk about evil things, but she does talk about cord cutting, which is very helpful. Vacuuming, which I don't ever do, but it's a concept of asking Archangel Michael to come in and vacuum out the energy that's in you that's negative. That might resonate for some of you. She talks about lifting a psychic attack. Now, you know how I feel about a lot of baneful magic and baneful energy, and I am not a huge believer in psychic attack. If you're properly protected, you're likely okay. However, I've been taught by a lot of other, I don't know if I want to use light worker, but spiritual minded friends, that I tend to have some kind of natural barrier up that I don't have to work on. Often I'm very lucky and I don't pick up on things like that. So I could just be gifted in that area, and it's not in your best interest to don't be lazy like me. I'm lazy. I don't have to do a lot of protection work where I feel like a lot of other people should be doing it. I'm just lucky, and I could be cursing myself by putting this out there, but that's fine, whatever. And then a way to heal past life vows. That is also in that chapter. So again, stuff about past life. Part 3, I barely read. So if I'm flipping through this book, right, you can see that there's all these sticky notes at the beginning. Sticky notes, I highlighted a lot of stuff, right? Once we get to part 3, so this is part 3. There's no sticky notes. There's nothing highlighted. I kind of stopped reading. I got to the point of angel readings and angel therapy. Part 3 starts on chapter 13, and it talks about you are a spiritual teacher and healer. And so this is her, like, giving advice about being a teacher and healer, but it's also her slightly plugging her classes. I have to be honest, because, oh, you're a spiritual teacher and healer. Well, how are you going to do that? You need to come to me. I need to help you. I need to teach you. A little bit. So chapter 13 is about light workers and life purpose. And you know how I feel about the term light worker. I'm not a big fan, although it is a big buzzword and many, many people resonate with it. I'm not knocking you if you do, but light workers believe that they've come to this world to anchor in the light in the hot and raise the vibration of the planet. Now, you can be, like me, not a light worker and still help with raising the vibration of the planet. So You don't have to identify with that terminology. It's a term that was coined. I'm not even sure where it came from. I haven't done research around it. But it is about the light, all in the light. So then she gets talking about faith and confidence, coming out of the spiritual closet, which might be helpful for some of you guys. Giving and receiving is important. So that is about giving readings or giving healings or doing any kind of working for people, because a lot of light workers teach and preach that you shouldn't be taking money. You should be doing readings for free, because that is of the light, and money is a negative energy. We can get into that a whole nother day if you'd like me to. Comment down below. I'm looking for new ideas for videos. I do have a list, but if this is triggering ideas for you guys, feel free to make suggestions down below. So she talks about giving and receiving, that it is equally important. So giving of your energy and your time of a reading should be compensated somehow, some way. I do actually really like that concept. She talks about how high self-esteem is the same as having confidence, and then she gets into moving forward into the next steps of what to do now. So chapter 14 is actions to take now. So like, how can you plug yourself? How can you improve yourself? How can you start your spiritual healing mission? 15 is about putting yourself out there. And it talks a little bit about like doing podcasts and writing books and going to psychic fairs and things like that. 16 is you're a professional speaker and how to speak about things professionally. I didn't read this chapter at all. Might help now. I don't know. I might revisit all this. 17 talks about being a spiritual healer. And then 18 talks about self-care tips for spiritual teachers and healers, which could help. I'm not sure. I haven't read that part. So I'm giving you a review up to pretty much chapter 14. And then I stopped reading because it was a lot. It was a lot. So I did do an angel therapy oracle deck walkthrough that goes with this. When I first got this book and started taking this course and started reading, the way that this was, my teacher, my mentor at the time, she had 2 to 3 hour classes every Sunday for like 8 weeks. And our homework was to read this book, but the course was based in between a mixture of her own experiences and this book. And she taught us how to do angel readings, oracle readings on other people that were taking the course. And she didn't recommend getting the card deck that had to do with this. She actually had other ones. She had the Archangel oracle deck. She had the Magical Fairies oracle deck and a few others, and I can't remember what they were because it was so long ago. I took this class in 2012, something like that. It was like right after this book was published. So it was a long time ago. My first deck was actually the Magical Fairies deck. That's how I learned to read oracle cards. That's what from this book, from the practices in the class. We did some mediumship stuff. We did some aura readings, but aura readings isn't even in this book. So I hope you guys liked this. I mean, I gave you mostly what the breakdown is of the book. The book is good. It is valuable. If you're trying to tap into your intuition, if you're trying to connect, you can even use it without, I mean, it is angel based. It's the angel book and it is the angel lady, but you can use it to learn how to connect with the spiritual realm and not look at it just about angels. A lot of the tips and tricks she gives, a lot of the guidance she gives is applicable to more than just angels. It can be applicable. I've been working all day today. I've done like 20 readings to all areas of spirituality and guides and ancestors and connecting to deities, and you can expand it. it goes as far as your imagination allows you to go. You're not boxed in to her one thing. But it is a decent reference book as far as archangels go, because I do have clients sometimes that want to know angel messages and that do resonate with specific archangels. And I will use her angel tarot when that happens, because there's an archangel written on a lot of the cards. And then I can just say, well, Archangel so-and-so is coming through with this card, and this is what I'm feeling. And for some clients, they really want to hear that. Some clients don't care at all, and it can actually be a turn off. So you gotta, I literally have regular tarot, look at Three of Swords, regular tarot, Archangel tarot, Angel tarot, Guardian Angel tarot, and then I have Witch tarot. So I'm all over the place, and it really all depends on what the client needs and deserves and wants and resonates with, right? However, do not do readings for people, or do not, don't do it if it doesn't resonate with you. I don't do twin flame readings. Don't do them. I don't do them. And we can talk about that another day, but I don't do twin flame readings. I can, but I don't usually do them. I typically avoid them, and I can explain that another time. So that is pretty much all for today. Is this book worth it? I feel it is. It also depends on how much you can find it for. The price of it when I bought it was $14.95 in the United States. That was back in 2012, 2013 when it first came out. Now it's out of print, so you'd have to look for it in places like eBay or Etsy or used bookshops. Amazon might carry it. I'm not 100% sure. I will also share a used bookshop link down below, because they do carry witch books. Like, I ended up getting these 2 books from it, and I haven't read them yet, but it's Basic Witches in Earth, Air, Fire, and Water. And it's ones that I've had on my list to get. And I was doing Christmas shopping, actually, for obscure movies for my brother. Look at how full my bookshelf is now. It's getting there. I was looking for obscure 80s and 90s movies for Christmas for my brother, because that's what he really wanted. And only places that were used bookshops had stuff like that. So yeah, you can definitely find them. And the used bookshop that I will link down below ships. It's based out of Maine, but it does ship. So you may be able to find it. I don't know if Angel Therapy is on it, but you could find other witchcraft books on it. So it's not a bad resource for you guys to have. That's about it for today. Again, comment whatever you'd like down below. Be constructive, be appropriate, be kind. If there's stuff that I've mentioned in this video that you would like me to elaborate on in another video, I'm not going to get into huge detailed questions in the comments. I do read all of them, but I'm not going to explain the clairs in the comments. I'm not doing it. You can do your own research, or you can ask me to do another video around it. That's how we will do that. I am getting affiliates. I actually have teamed up with a company that I just bought a coffee mug from, and they're supposed to be giving me a code after I share the coffee mug on my first video. The coffee mug's in the dishwasher right now, so I can't share it with you. I will be sharing it in the next video. So there's one company that has like witchy clothing lines that's pretty cool, and then there's another company that reached out to me that has asked me to do an unboxing of their stuff on my site. So once that comes in, I will be unboxing that information for you, and you will get a coupon discount code for that. So slowly but surely, my adventure of getting sponsors, partnerships, affiliates, that kind of thing is coming in. The links I am sharing with you today are not affiliated with anything. All right? I'm not getting a commission. I'm not getting sales. I'm not getting anything. I'm just sharing my information with you for today at the time of filming. And today is March 29th, 2022. Sorry, my neighbors are bringing in their trash barrels. Today isn't even trash day. Anyhow, I'm gonna wrap this up. If you are interested in getting a reading from me, I do tarot readings, I do oracle readings, I do automated writing readings, I do rune readings, and more. Channeled messages. I can do past life readings, I can do life purpose readings. I mostly do romance because that is what what everybody asked for, including me. I am going to be looking into giving you guys a discount coupon for first time clients. I have to figure out how to set that up on my site, but I'm going to be looking into that. So if you, maybe I'll do a YouTube viewer discount. So if you guys come to me from this channel, you can get a discount. I think that's what I'm going to do. Actually, I just thought of it just now. I'm also going to be looking into doing a thrift shop haul, witchy haul. So I have a lot coming up for the future for you guys. It's just time. Sorry. Now my neighbor is driving away. I don't know if you can hear it. All right. It's been a long day. Thank you for sticking with me. And again, if you have any interest in seeing anything expanded that I discussed, comment it down below. Let me know if you want a tarot or an oracle deck for Flip Through Friday this week, because I have both that I've recorded and I just have to edit. And I'll see you guys all in the next video. Follow me on Instagram if you're interested. I also have Instagram and Facebook. I do have an Instagram where I post pictures, where it's a lot easier to click a quick picture and post that. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye for now.